Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera. Hi everyone. How are you? Apa khabar semua? Welcome everyone to the session. Thank you for sharing your valuable time to join this session. Hi, my name is Faiz. I will be your moderator for today. This is the first webinar session for 2020 with IR Tajul, brought to you by Chemical Productivity Nexus Group, Central Region Office, Malaysia Productivity Corporation, MPC. For your information, Dr. IR Izarhan could not be with us today as he has an emergency to attend. So IR Tajo will be replacing him. Okay, Nexus Group act as a union organization to assist company in more human touch, providing consultation and discussion among professional industries to gain more insight matters that may affect your companies and findings. Before I move on, I would like to go through how this session works. This is a 1 hour session. In today's program, it will be divided into two sessions, which we call the talk and Q&A session. But in between the session, audience are allowed to ask questions. For your information, everyone here is under mute mode. So how you ask question? You can type your question in the question box in your apps that you can see in your screen. So you just type your question. I will read out the question to the speaker. I will also provide you a link in the chat box for you to download the slide presentation in a while. Okay, good news again. There is a giveaway for all of you who joined this session. Everyone who joined this session today will be given a certificate of attendance by MPC. But you have to join us until the end of the session. Please bear in your mind that only at the end of the session, the link will be provided to you. So you just click the link and fill up the evaluation form and the certificate will be emailed to you. But you have to wait until the end of the session, everyone. So there is also a survey on chemical productivity nexus that we provide a link to you. Please fill up the survey so that we can improve to provide you better service. I will remind you again at the end of the session. So we move on to today's session, incident reporting and root cause analysis technique. The Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, Act 514 requires an employer to notify the nearest department or of Occupational Safety and Health Office of any accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and occupational disease that has occurred in the place of work. The Act also stipulates every registered medical practitioner or medical officer attending to or called in to visit a patient whom he believed to be suffering from occupational disease or poisoning to report the matter to the Director General. The Occupational Safety and Health Notification Accident Dangerous Occurrence, Occupational Poisoning and Occupational Disease Regulation 2004 provide further requirement and information on the notification method, procedure process to be followed by employer and the medical practitioner in pursuant to the requirement of Section 32 Act 514. The main purpose of reporting the incident stated under 32 Act 514 is for the authority to determine an underlying causes of the incidents in order to remedial action to be taken to prevent similar occurrence in the future. At the same time, the data gathered would be important database for DOSH to carry out analysis and to come up with strategic plan to administer and enforce the law. While root cause analysis (RCA) is defined as a collective term and described as a wide range approach or tools and techniques used to uncover causes of problems. Some root cause analysis approach are geared more towards identifying true root causes than others. Some are more general problem-solving techniques, and others simply offer support and core activity of root cause analysis. So let's join IR Tajul shares his experience and knowledge in incident reporting and root cause analysis technique and provide us with practical tips and strategy. Before I pass the session to our honorable speaker, I would like to share a little bit of our safety expert. IR Tajul Arifin bin Muhammad Nori graduated with Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering at University Technology Malaysia. Before that, he owns a Bachelor of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering from University Technology Malaysia. IR Tajul is with the Department of Occupational Safety and Health for more than 22 years. Currently, he is a Senior Assistant Director in Mechanical Engineering Section, Forensic Engineering Division, DOS Malaysia. Among the competency and qualification that IR Tajul posts are DOS subject matter expert in investigation and forensic engineering, authorized gas tester, NIOSH Malaysia, confined space authorized entry supervisor and standby person in NIOSH Malaysia, DOS prosecution officer, HRDF certified train the trainer. IR Tajul also has been involved with publications such as re-engineering the workplace with new norms, aerodrome safety and health issues in the airport operation industry, explosion fatality forensic investigation of volatile organic compound VOC in confined ballast tank using computational fluid dynamics, workplace incident site investigation, reboot perencah and others. He has also been giving talks on topics related occupational safety and health in the workplace to various organizations, both public and private alike. If I would like to read all the achievements, it may take us 2 days to complete all the list. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Tajul Arifin bin Muhammad Nori. Hi sir, apa khabar? How are you? Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Khabar baik.
Panjang, panjang sangat list ya. Tuan saya tak baca semua pun. Kalau semua
Ni
memang
je-
3 hari lah kot.
I should give you my brief bio.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. No worries, no worries.
Okay, the stage is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum and very good morning, Mr. Moderator. So, first of all, my boss, Dr. Izhan, sent his regard to all of you because he was not able to attend this morning session because he have to attend his late auntie funeral this morning. So, this morning he told me that I have to deliver this topic, so I just prepared my slide. Hope I can share with all of you my experience, my knowledge in the area of accident reporting and maybe some investigation technique. I'll try to deliver my talk in English because the slide prepared in English. But if you don't mind, I may mix up with Malay if that's okay. So I see about 104 participants, quite big audience. But here I can see only my laptop and Mr. Moderator face. The problem with the new norm, we have to talk to our laptop like this. Hope you don't get bored. Okay. So let's get started. So this is the topic given to me. Okay. So a bit about myself. Maybe just the moderator have briefly describe about myself, just to share my some experience. So I joined DOSH. Before I joined, I was after graduate, I joined the RB HiCom as a process engineer. And then after a year in the private industry, then I joined DOSH. At that time already, I joined the forensic engineering division. And then after 2016, I was sent to regional state office, and I involved with investigation and also prosecution. So today you meet engineer who was acting like a lawyer also. I've been going to the court to prosecute the employee that breached the law of OSHA especially. And now I'm coming back to forensic engineering division in DOSH headquarters, and until now lah. Okay. Okay, so for today, there will be two parts of this morning talk. First, I will share with you about the incident reporting, the introduction, what is the legal requirement, some the definition and the NEDEPOD. NEDEPOD is a regulation under the OSHA 1994. The objective and some detail about the. Do you have any question? Oh, I see Dr. Izan's joined the talk. Okay, so you like to say something, Dr.?
Yes, Dr. Izarhan,
Okay.
would you like to say something?
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Very sorry. I have emergency.
No problem.
Yeah.
You have good officers around you.
Yeah. So hopefully, El Tajo will be representing me. No problem. I think he also expert in this area.
Okay, thank you, sir. Everyone here is very good.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully next time I will attend. I mean, give the presentation if got any chance.
Okay.
Yeah. Very sorry.
Okay, Doctor, take care.
Thank you. Take care.
So we go into the incident reporting, and then we will look into the RCAT. RCAT is a root cause analysis technique. We'll maybe a little bit about the definition, the root cause, the detail of the technique, and how to solve a investigation case using this technique, and maybe some case studies. Okay. Okay, so at the end of this session, the participant might be able to understand what is the mandatory requirement of incident reporting, and maybe you might be able to establish your incident reporting with the compliance to the law of incident reporting. And from the investigation technique of RCAT, maybe you can initiate your investigation when you have a workplace accident at your office or at your work site. Okay, so first of all, we go into the first part of the talk, which is the incident reporting. Okay, so under the OSHA, there's a duty of employer when occupational accident happen. The employee shall notify the nearest occupational safety and health office of any accident, the dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, or occupational disease, which have occurred or is likely to occur at the place of work. Likely to occur mean maybe you have the dangerous occurrence at your workplace, and this also the employee might need to notify the nearest occupational safety and health office is the DOSH office, Department of Occupational Safety and Health office, and every state there's one DOSH office. So under the OSHA, this mandatory requirement is spelled out under the section 31(1), where employee need to notify the nearest OSHA office if there's four situation. First, the accident, maybe the dangerous occurrence, the occupational poisoning, and the occupational disease. The accident like the workers fall from height, or dangerous occurrence maybe there's a formwork structure collapse or crane fall, or like recently we have the gantry launcher accident happened in Sukai, but that is considered accident because they involve fatality. And occupational poisoning, like there's related to work, like the chemical release or the disease. And then under the section 32, this one is the duty for the employer. And this one, the duty of registered medical practitioners such as occupational and health doctor who attending or visiting a patient and he believe uh, the patient suffer from any disease listed under the third schedule of the Factory and Machinery Act 1967 or any regulation under the OSHA 1994. That is another part lah. Under the OSHA, there's a regulation described about what you need to do when there's accident, dangerous occurrence, or occupational poisoning and disease. There's a regulation gazetted since 2004 and need to report to the Director General. Report to the Director General means you report to the DOSH office. And under the nether port, under the regulation 5 about the notification, when there is an accident arising out of work and it maybe cause a bodily injury which prevent a person from working of more than 4 calendar days. Okay, so if more than 4 days, calendar days mean the day in 1 month. I mean that let's say first Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, that's the calendar day lah. And the employer within the 7 days need to send a written report in the approved form to DOSH. That's the JKKP form. And nowadays we have the system, web-based system, the MyKKP, where you can register your workplace, your machinery, and everything. And now we have include the reporting system through the MyKKP. You can find it from our DOSH website, and you can report it through the JKKP sheets. Okay. Or when an employee died within 1 year after suffering from injury, within 1 year mean after he experienced any accident in the period of 1 year, the employee shall inform in writing to the DG, the Director General, about the accident which caused the life of the workers, even though it has been reported earlier. Okay. So there's also exemption for notification spelled out in the regulation 6 of the nether port. So if the employee is a self-employed, if the worker is a self-employed and he don't need to report to DOSH by any quickest mean as required by the employer, but he may need to make arrangement for the report to be sent to DOSH by another person. Ini kalau self-employed person lah. Like nowadays we have the Grab gig workers, the self-employed mean people without employer, he work for himself, then he may not required to notify. Can you hear me? My internet connection is not
Everything fine. Can be heard.
Okay. So far okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. And then for the occupational poisoning and disease spelled out under the regulation 7, This one is the same as the previous regulation 5, but this one related to poisoning and disease. And this poisoning and disease, it lists out in the third schedule of the nether pot. And I will not go into the detail due to the time constraint. There's a list. You can download the copy of the act and the regulation of nether pot from our website. And for this regulation 7, you need to fill up the form JKKP 7. The forms that I mentioned here, I will show later in the upcoming slides. Okay. And for regulation 7.2, this is a requirement for the medical practitioner or the medical officer. If he attending to a patient suffering from any one of the occupational poisoning or occupational disease listed in the third schedule, and within the 7 days must report to the DG. The one is for the employee, the second is for medical practitioner. Okay, for exemption is the same. Also for the self-employed person, regulation 8 related to regulation 7. But this one for poisoning and disease. Okay, when you come across any accident at your work site, you must remember something. Do not disturb the work area because there's a requirement under the law. This one we call it the kacau ganggu lah. If accident happen, then you disturb the workplace. It's because when you disturb or remove anything from the workplace, you may tamper the evidence from the workplace, which may make it harder for the investigator to find what is the root cause. Unless you are being authorized to do so, or there's three situation. If you can disturb the work area and not breach the law of nether pot. That is the first one. If accident happen, then you saw the victim still living and asking for help, and maybe he need to prevent further injury and need immediate medical treatment to save life, prevent injury, or relieve suffering of a person, then you can help the victim. Or the accident has blocked the road general public access, then you can remove the plant or the workers of the victim at the accident site. And maybe you want to prevent further damage or serious loss of a property, like you saw an accident where your workers hit by a fire, then there's more fire may cause a huge explosion to the nearest oil tank. Then you need to prevent that, and then you have that excuse, and then you can justify by these three situation, then it's okay. You can disturb the workplace. But if you don't have these three situation, but you want to temper the work site, then you will be in a problem. Please remember these three situation. Okay. So under the nether pot regulation 2004, any work-related accident occur which cause where you need to notify. There is any work-related accident occur which cause any person cause him death or serious body injury more than 4 calendar days. This is the definition for dangerous occurrence. The dangerous occurrence arising out of or in connection with work and is of a class specified in Schedule 2. For dangerous occurrence, there's example list in the Schedule 2 of the regulation. And for the occupational poisoning and occupational disease, which arising out of or in connection with work or is of a class specified in Schedule 1 and 3 of the NEDEPOD. Again, you need to download the regulation and the app from the website, or maybe you can purchase from the bookshop.
And I Tajul, there is one question from the floor.
Yeah.
From Mr. Har Sahib Singh Sarjit Singh. He said, does noise-induced hearing loss (NIHL) need to be reported in GKP 7 as well?
Yes, for that matter, you need to report for under the NEDEPOD. And there's also a regulation for the noise, I think 2019 or 2017. I can't remember the new regulation. Under that regulation, if you have NIR cases, that one also you need to report to the DG. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That one I believe it lists out in the schedule 1 or schedule 3. I can't remember because it's a lot of there's a long list of poisoning and disease. And for the dangerous occurrence, this is the list out in the schedule 2. For example, the collapse of scaffolding. This is a typical cases we experience. The collapse of a building or structure, or short circuit, escape of substance like the release of H2S, hydrogen disulfide, explosion, overturning or collapse of lifting machinery. This is the example, the list that you must report if you experience any of this situation, this occurrence. Okay.
Mr. Tajul? Mr. Tajul, I think your internet connection is bad. So, everyone, I think there is a technical problem with our presenter, but in between, please fill up the survey on chemical productivity nexus, which I had given the link to you. So I put back again the link. And attendees who would like to ask question, just type the question in the question box that you can see in your apps. I'm very sorry for the technical error. I think our admin is correcting it. So our presenter will be with us in a while. Just take your break, make some coffee, have some drinks, or smoke a little cigar, but not many. And then for the a lot of you are asking the certificate. So just be with us another 20 to 30 minutes. until the end of the session. At the end of the session, I will provide you a link for the e-certificate. So no problem. I think 5 to 10 minutes before we off, I will provide you the link. So I hope today's session is very beneficial to all of you. Sorry, because of the main presenter, Dr. IR, Izarhan is not with us because of the emergency. His auntie passed away, so he'll attending a funeral. But maybe I can ask the administrator, the MPC. Maybe he will make another session with our original presenter. So just stay with us for a while. I think the presenter is on the way, coming 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, do you have any question? You just can type in the question box. And then at the meantime also you can look into the our website or our link to see all the schedule for webinar and also for other training. So you can then we also provide, the admin has provided the link to you. Just click the link, the Facebook, YouTube channel, Telegram channel. Just click the link. We have there is an information regarding all the activities from Chemical Productivity Nexus Group. And if you want to go to the main website, you just go to www.mpc.gov.my. This is the main website for MPC. I received an information that the presenter is on the way. For those who has just joined, sorry, there is a technical problem from the presenter side. So we are waiting for the presenter to be in again. There is issue on, I think, on the internet connection. Okay. Okay, the next webinar for today is at 3 p.m. Sharing session. So for those who want to join, click the link of the Facebook, and as usual, scan the QR code and fill up the form. For today, the topic will be hold on. The topic for this afternoon will be from Haji Fauzi, valuing the chain of customer and partners. There is a link in the Facebook app, Facebook page, and also the Facebook page. Just click the link, scan the QR code. Terima kasih kepada attendees yang sabar menanti. Where is the evaluation link for? Oh, there is a question from anonymous. Where is the evaluation from link for today's webinar? As usual, if you want the certificate, please be with us. Just wait until the end of the session. We wouldn't provide you a link at the early of the session. So just wait until the end of the session. For sure, our admin will provide the link to you. No problem. Okay, we also have a question. Hi, does beating by rodents like mouse considered as accident that we have need to report? So I will convey this question to our presenter. Thank you for the question. Okay. Yeah, our expert is back. Again, thanks everyone for joining and patient. Be patient with us. Hopefully everything will okay in 1 or 2 minutes. But in the meantime, help yourself with some coffee or tea at your own place. Sekejap ada suara, sekejap tiada suara. Dari saya ke dari presenter yang ada suara tak ada suara? Okay, Mr. Tajul is back. IR Tajul. Hi, Mr. IR Tajul. Are you with us?
Hello?
Hi, Tajul.
I think I will be using my smartphone lah.
So the slide, you
Can
hold
you
on.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Tajul, can you hear me?
Now, cepat ya.
Yes,
Can you
Mr.
hear?
I can hear you very well.
So I think I will be using my smartphone. I cannot. I've changed to my desktop. Also cannot.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Okay. Share screen. Okay. I think tunggu sekejap untuk dia orang nak tukar apa ni untuk share screen.
Okay.
Boleh nampak skrin saya?
Boleh. We go to slide. What slide ah? Left. Slide
This
17.
This one PDF.
Slide 17.
Like 17. Schedule to this one, is it?
No.
Next. This one.
Next.
Next.
Next one. Next. After this. Okay.
Okay.
This one.
This one.
Okay.
Next one.
No, previous one.
Reporting method from JKKP 9, JKKP 10.
Okay.
This one.
This one. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So this is the reason, the objective behind the nether port. First, to determine what is the underlying cause, and then to take the remedial action, prevent similar occurrence, and gather and collect the data for analysis. And this data will be used for the DOSH or regulators to regulate a new law to prevent the similar occurrence. That's why when the accident happen, you need to report to the government authority, so that from the accident we have some information how to prevent the similar occurrence by drafting the new regulation or new guidelines or industrial code of practice. So I think that there's one question here. The accident report is about 1 to 2 pages, is it? Or okay. Maybe I can answer now. So the accident report, we don't limit the pages. It depends on the complexity of the accident. But you need to put every fact of the accident to the report to be submit to the authority. But for the approved form, I will share with you. Maybe next, moderator. Okay, there's this mandatory form you need to fill up when there is accident. First, the JKKP seats if there is any accident or dangerous occurrence. I mean, like structure failure, the crane collapse, then you need to fill up the JKKP seats. But if you come across any occupational poisoning disease, then you need to fill up the JKKP 7. But for JKKP 8, it serves as your accident register for all the accident, dangerous occurrence, poisoning or disease. And this you need to compile for every year. Then you need to submit to the DOS. This is a 3 form that approved by the DG. Then next, there's a JKKP 9, which tell you which you can use to put the detail of the accident. And then the JKKP 10 is for the detail of the poisoning and the disease. This one you fill up after investigation, the JKP 9 and 10. Okay, next is the form you can download from the website, or if you fill up the my KKP, you will have the similar form like this. Okay, there's a detail who will notify the accident, the company, and the victim information, and the most important thing is the description of accident. So need to put it into detail. Typically we receive form JKKPC, but not put the detail of the accident. For example, just put pekerja terjatuh. But we need to know, is it the pekerja terjatuh, he fell, what happened to him or her? Then we take immediate action according to severity of the accident. That's why it's important to put the detail of the accident. Okay. Next is the JKKP 7. This one is similar with JKKPC, but for poisoning and the disease. And next is the JKKP 8. This one is very detailed. It lists out all the information about all the accident throughout the year happen at your workplace. Okay. Next is the JKKP 9. This one is a very detailed of the accident, but you need to conduct your own investigation before you submit this form to JKKP, and it tell you very detailed about the accident. Then this data is very useful for the authority to analyze and come up with maybe the new law, the new requirement to prevent such similar accident. And then the JKKP 10 is the poisoning and the disease is same like the JKKP 9. Just want you to remember, you need to fill out the form because there's a lot of case when your workers experience accident and let's say he experienced disabilities and want to claim for SOCSO or POCASO or insurance. If you don't report to DOS using the form, then you cannot claim. This is what happened after maybe after a few months or after a year, then the victim come to the department asking for this. Then we do investigation and we found that because you don't fill up the form, then you are considered maybe not reporting to DOS. Okay. So next is the penalty. under the section 51, under the section 51 of the OSHA Act is the penalty, and under the nether port is under regulation 13. If you breach any requirement under the nether port, then you may experience 10,000 ringgit for each breach. Let's say you have an accident. First, you don't notify, one breach. Second, you disturb the accident area. That one considered two breach, because breach disturbing the accident scene consider breach of nether port. Then maybe you get fined 20 maximum to 20,000 ringgit. Or maybe sentence to the term not imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or maybe both. Okay, then we go to maybe a brief about root cause analysis technique. Next, this is some definition what is accident. So accident is any unplanned or unexpected event that results in personal injury or illness, or maybe also in property damage. So the failure of people, equipment, supplies, or surrounding to behave or react as expected cause most accident. And for incident, if something happen unexpected that doesn't result in any injury, but may result in property damage. For example, the dangerous occurrence. The topple of the crane maybe does not hit anyone, but that one is considered an incident. Okay, next, the purpose of accident investigation. We want to contribute a good moral and overall safety awareness. Because if we let the accident without any investigation, we don't know what is the root cause, then similar occurrence might happen again. And it is the investigation is essential element in safety and health management. This will give you a good information to conduct your risk management. And third is to prevent the reoccurrence, I mentioned just now. And of course, for the continuous OSH improvement. Okay. Okay, for the method, next slide, method of investigation analysis. So there's a various type of method you can be used, like fault tree analysis, FMEA, fishbone diagram. This is a typical one. Cost analysis, arcade, or tripod beta. For fishbone, maybe a simple incident, you can use this one. Maybe for a complex case, you can use the tripod beta. And for you want to know the detail why the accident happened, you can use the root cause analysis technique because it relates to various factors of accident. Okay, next. Okay, this is how we conduct the root cause analysis technique. So the flow, we look from the right, which is from loss, and we reverse back. The loss is caused by the accident, and this accident, there's immediate cause, which may caused by the substandard act or substandard condition. The act may be from the workers themselves, and the condition may be the environment. And this cause, there's a root of the cause, which contribute by the personal factor or the job factor. And this may relate to the control measures. Maybe there are inadequate of the system, like for example, safe system of work at your workplace, or maybe the compliance to the law, because OSHA is the self-regulation and it depends on the employer how he want to manage his or her worker safety and health. And standard, maybe they do not implement any sorry, occupational safety and health standard like ISO 45001. And the reason behind this may be there's inadequate risk assessment. This is the baseline issue. Sorry. Okay, next. So let's take a look about the loss. The loss is the result of the accident or incident. It may cause injury to physical of the workers, and or it may cause a property damage. Okay. Next is example of the accident. This one lists out in the schedule of Netherport. For example, the struck again, fall from height, caught between, struck by, over-exertion or collapse. This is some example of scenario of accident. And from the accident, you need to know what is the cause of the accident. Maybe due to the substandard practice or condition. For the practice, for example, operating the equipment without authority, maybe he don't have any competency to operate some machinery like the forklift. There's a substandard practice that may cause an accident. And for the condition, we look at the environment. For example, a poor housekeeping, then you left a wire on the floor, then it cause you a tangle and fall. Okay, then we look into the root cause from the immediate cause. Maybe this one is the underlying cause why the accident happened. From the personal factors, maybe the worker's lack of knowledge and skill for a certain type of activity, or maybe he have improper motivation, stress issue, or maybe he have issue with his capability, or maybe the job factor like the leadership, supervision, inadequate engineering control, maintenance. Okay, here's some example here. And the control, we can lack of control, we can look into the three factor, like the system of the management system of the workplace, the compliance to the law, the employee compliance or not, because compliance to the law might prevent the accident, or maybe no standard for OSH management at the workplace. Okay, next is the example of the lack of control, like supervision performance and the management policy and decision. Okay, I think I see some question, maybe I can answer now from Poh Peng Eng, sorry. In an incident like mercury leak from broken thermometer, is it advisable for us to clean it using mercury cleaning kit, or shall we leave it to authorities like Bomba? Some people said, why we need to call Bomba for small leakage like that? What you say? Okay, I think this one, we can consider it as a dangerous occurrence, but for the situation like this, if the amount of chemical or solution is not too harmful for us, I think the most important thing is to conduct the risk assessment. But something like leak from the mercury, this is a very simple occurrence, but I don't know, is it list out in the second schedule of dangerous occurrence or not. But as a safety measure, I think we no need to call for authorities lah. Like your suggestion to clean it using mercury cleaning kit, I think is adequate. I think no need to call for bomber for this type of accident. It's very, very small one. Like you have a cut from sharp edges. I think that one you no need to report for the authority, but you need to declare the the accident at your workplace. Unless the cut is very serious, then you need to report. I think this one you need to see the level of severity, and most important thing out of all is to conduct the risk assessment. Okay, I hope that answer your question, because I don't never come across such situation like that, because so far no one report such question. Sorry, no one report such occurrence. Thank you. Then you go to next slide. Identify control needs. Need to know when you want to put a control measures. We need to look on the hierarchy of control measures, and the factor to be considered is of course the planning and the leadership, training and communication, inspection, maintenance, wash management system, PPN, and audit. And to consider the hierarchy of control, we must first consider the elimination, whether we can eliminate the hazard or the risk, or if we cannot eliminate the hazard. For example, let's say we have road construction. We can eliminate the hazard, maybe the traffic of the car. We can eliminate the hazard by divert the traffic from the work area. We put the diversion road, then we can eliminate the hazard. But if we cannot eliminate, maybe we can substitute. Example of substitute, let's say you're using a chemical A which is corrosive to your skin. Maybe we can use a chemical that not corrosive, that is less harmful to our skin. Or maybe you cannot substitute, you can use the engineering control. For example, like the road construction I mentioned, you have to deal with the traffic, but how to want to slow down the traffic from crossing through the construction site? Maybe we can put a bump, so that when the car coming, when he saw a bump or harm, then he will slow down. I mean, we still have the traffic, but we control by the engineering, and maybe the administrative control, like establish a proper traffic management plan. You put a barricade, the cone, and the buffer zone. Then you properly manage by the that safe work procedure. And the least effective control is the using PPE. This one, if you cannot eliminate or substitute or control the hazard, then you still need to deal with it. Then maybe you can use the PPE. Like our current pandemic, we are using the face mask as a PPE to prevent the airborne contagion COVID-19. Okay. Next slide is about the risk assessment. From my experience, when the accident happen, the most important thing is we look into the risk assessment, because risk assessment is a mandatory requirement for the employee under the section 15 of the OSHA. By risk assessment, you may identify what is the hazard with your activities, workplace. Then from the risk assessment, we might be able to know what is the level of risk and how to control them. If you conduct a proper risk assessment, then you may prevent the accident from happen. But if you don't conduct risk assessment, it means you don't manage your risk or hazard at your workplace. So it's important to conduct the risk assessment, and from accident investigation, it will give you a lot of information how to prevent the accident and conduct a proper risk assessment. Okay, we have established a guideline of HIRAC. You can download from our website. That's how to manage the risk at your workplace. Okay, this is a example case study prepared by Dr. Izahan. This case may be before I joined the department. The crawler crane collapsed during lifting of 70 tons of concrete segment. Due to inexperienced operator, the ground cannot support the weight of the crane and the load, and the main boom structure cannot support the load due to crane aging. This is very old crane. So we look from the loss. From the loss, we have the operator injured and damaged property of the machinery. The accident is the crawler crane collapse, and the immediate cause is due to the substandard is the inexperienced operator, and the substandard condition is the ground or the soil issue. This is not stable, and also the aging crane. For the root cause, maybe for personal factor is the lack of training. Because we find from this case that the operator was not a competent operator, and the job factor is there are no engineering assessment conducted when you doing the lifting work. There's no safe work procedure of lifting plan established for this activity, and the lack of control. There are issue with the system, the compliance and the standard, of course, and they fail to identify this hazard earlier that lead to the accident. Okay, so for the conclusion, employer is mandatory to report any accident based on the NEDOPOD requirement. But like the question that thermometer leak, I think that one is not specified in the NEDOPOD requirement. And accident that not fall under NEDOPOD need to use a Form 8 to submit. If you have accident, then it doesn't meet the requirement under the NEDOPOD. Also, you need to list out in the is down in the JKKP8. And now we have the online system to report the accident through the MyKKP. And CAT is one of the systematic analysis for incident investigation. And if you effectively conduct incident investigation, it may give you answer how to prevent the similar occurrence. Okay, now just to share with you, the OSHA bill will be amended. So before the MCO was supposed to be read for the second and third time before the amendment, and the major amendment is the cost of fine will be increased from maximum 50,000 will be 500,000 or 500,000 for maximum penalty. We hope after the next parliament sitting, our law can be passed through the bill so that like the recent accident like the Suke Highway Gantry crane collapse, we can prevent that kind of accident by increasing the penalty.
Hi,
Okay.
sir. As you mentioned, the Suki Highway, we got a question from Mr. Fairul Ahmad Najmi saying that since
Yeah.
September 2020 until March 2021, there were 3 accidents happened at the Suki Highway caused by the hazard from the construction activities currently in progress. What is the action taken by DOSH to the contractor to avoid similar accident happen, as we can see that project quite dangerous for the road user?
Yeah. So currently we are conducting our investigation, but of course we look on what wrong with the accident, what is the root cause, and of course yesterday there are event with the ministry, deputy ministry himself, with the contractor, the designer, the project owner, to have like I think aku janji to prevent the accident. But of course our approach for enforcement for accident cases, we will prosecute who is the culprit of the case. And the process to complete the investigation report maybe take 3 or 4 months. Then if it complete, then we get the izin to prosecute from our DPP. Once we got the consent to prosecute, then we prosecute them in the court of law. But of course, if you see why I mentioned to you, our penalty is very small, 50,000. If you compare to the cost of the project, which is 1 billion, it's very small. That's why we need to impose a penalty, higher penalty lah. So they will think gain to take it for granted for the safety of their workers.
I think maybe percentage of the project, or not. I mean, the penalty, apa dia punya berdasarkan percentage of the project, bukan macam ya kan, macam 50,000 kalau yang kontraktor kecil memang nampak besar kan, tapi a big contractor like that, 50,000 is nothing for them, kan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So itulah kalau dekat UK kita tengok dia punya case tu, kalau accident happen, very serious lah, dia punya penalty sampai the contractor can go bankrupt.
Yeah.
We want to have that kind of approach to prevent the kind of accident. If not, they for granted lah, 50,000. Dia punya belanja runcit je.
Bagi makan tiap hari kontraktor je 50,000.
Ya.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I
Okay.
hope it's answer Mr. Fairuz's question. Okay, back to you, sir.
Okay. I think that's it. Maybe sorry, I need one accident cases. Maybe you can go through example that I put here, because our time already 11:30. I have a meeting. So if you have any question before I leave.
Okay, there's one more question from Po Peng Eng. Hi, does beating by rodents like mouse considered as an accident that we need to report to DOSH? Kena gigit tikus.
Oh, gigit tikus. That one is consider the I tak share tadi about the hazard, kind of hazard. Okay, so tikus ni, if category of hazard, is a biological hazard. Macam if the cases he was gigit by the tikus ni, if cause him or her death, fatality, then we conduct an investigation and we found that, like say, the workplace memang banyak tikus, memang dia tak tahu pasal tikus tu. Then check dia punya risk assessment.
Okay.
Kalau risk memang dia tak ambil tahu pasal biological hazard, then he also may be charged because not conducting the risk assessment. And if you not report, of course, kalau jadi case, then it consider breach of NADPOL. Because that one we maybe cause disease, I think.
So I think sir, it's about time, and Mr. Tajo also have a meeting to attend, right?
Okay.
So any last word from you, sir?
Okay, so my apology for the internet issue, because I pun tak pernah experience. So semalam kali putus. Dia punya our Putrajaya punya internet server problem.
Oh, all the Putrajaya server.
Not all lah, but maybe my area malam pun ada sekali. But I'm not aware lah, because this morning was assigned to give this talk, so I'm very sorry for that lah.
Okay.
So anything you can email me. I can find in the DOSH directory my name. You can ask me anything about accident investigation or maybe court cases lah. And accident reporting ni one of the main kita punya prosecution case lah. Kebanyakan case sebab tak lapor kemalangan. Last month ada dekat Kedah, satu case kena saman 25 pertuduhan untuk 25 pekerja yang tak lapor kemalangan lah.
Okay. Ya, so semua akan terlibat dalam pertuduhan ni lah.
Yeah, if you not report lah accident.
Okay.
Okay.
So the supervisor also involved or only the company owner?
Normally kita akan charge company lah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So additional info from Po regarding the tikus just now. He mentioned that the tikus dari hutan yang tergigit semasa buat penyelidikan.
Yeah. Because penyelidikan is part of dia punya undertaking, maybe MPC ada kerja penyelidikan, then that one consider as your punya hazard lah. Memang dalam hutan ada biological hazard ular, haiwan berbisa, then I think consider as workplace occupational related issue lah.
Okay. Okay, thank you,
Okay.
sir. I think it's about time. Thank you for sharing your valuable information. I think 1 hour is not enough to learn everything from you. I think we can have to request from APC for additional hours. Baru we can cover all the topics, right? Thank you
Yeah,
again for your
maybe
for,
next
yeah.
we can maybe next we can have physical one but like this not short.
Yeah.
Not
Lah,
sure.
yeah, this new norm is not good even for me myself also.
Okay.
Physical training is very very good. It's better because we can get the direct interaction from the audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. So for everyone who want to download the slide, you can download from the control panel. Sorry for the problem, the internet problem just now. Hopefully we can improve our service. So, and please fill up the evaluation form to get the certificate for attendance, and fill up the survey on chemical productive nexus. We had provide the link to you. So we'll end the webinar for today. We really hope to see you in the next webinar session. So take care, everyone. Please take your jab, take your vaccine. Stay safe, stay at home. Hashtag Malaysia productive, the world will be productive. Thank you. See you again. Assalamualaikum.